This is a quiet place. Nothing here needs your attention. Nothing is asking for effort. You do not need to listen closely. You do not need to follow the words. They can stay in the background, or they can fade completely. If your mind drifts, that is fine. If you forget what was said, that is fine too. There is nothing you need to remember. There is nothing you need to hold on to. The voice will remain steady. The pace will not change. The tone will stay the same. You may rest now, or later, or drift in and out. The story will continue whether you are listening or not. And now, without needing to notice the change, the story is already there. The night is quiet. The wind does not move. It only exists. There is a farmhouse in the distance. It is not bright. It is not dark. It simply rests. The land stretches softly. Fields of tall grass sway slightly, but there is no hurry in their motion. The earth beneath feels steady. It does not tremble. A river flows gently nearby. It does not speak. It does not hurry. It only follows its path. The moon hangs low. Its light is pale, calm. It touches the land evenly. Nothing reflects sharply. Nothing stands apart. Breathing is slow here. Even the air seems to inhale and exhale without notice. In, out. Long ago, people lived on these lands. They rose early. They rested late. Their lives were simple, quiet, unmeasured. Sleep was not earned. It was a place they returned to each evening without effort. The farmhouse is empty now, but it is not lonely. Its walls hold the echo of gentle days. Nothing calls attention. Nothing demands notice. Rooms are soft spaces. Corners have been softened by time. They do not divide. They allow. The sky does not sit above. It drapes the land. It rests with the earth. Stars are present, not bright, not sparkling, just present. Time does not press forward. Moments do not pile upon each other. They rest beside one another. Each second is weightless. If a thought drifts in, it does not linger. It fades naturally. You do not need to hold on to this. There is nothing you need to remember. The fields breathe with the land. Grass bends softly. River whispers nothing. It does not call. It does not ask. The night is steady. The air is smooth. The farmhouse rests. And somewhere beyond the trees, another house sleeps in the same quiet. People long ago walked these lands. They did not hurry. They did not watch for signals. They only moved with ease, and then returned to rest. Breathing continues gently. In, out. The moonlight touches a wooden fence. The boards are smooth with age. No sound comes from them. No one walks near. The land is alone and safe. The river bends past the hills. Its presence is calm. It does not demand thought. It does not require memory. You do not need to follow the river. You do not need to watch the moon. There is nothing you need to remember, nothing to carry. The farmhouse doors are closed. They hold nothing. They keep no stories alive. They are just doors. The fields stretch beyond the eyes. No boundaries remain. No fences. No markers. Just openness. Long ago, the people would sit by fires. They would speak softly, or not at all. The quiet was enough. The night was enough. In. Out. The sky blends with the horizon. It is a gentle line, soft and even. It does not press down. The stars fade into the soft air. They are gentle reminders of distance. Nothing more. The wind brushes the river's edge. It does not rush. It does not hurry. It only touches lightly. There is nothing you need to hold on to. No story to follow. No lesson to learn. Sleep is not arriving. It is already here. It is in the fields, in the farmhouse, in the river, in the space between each second. The night continues gently. It does not hurry. It does not pause. It simply exists. Breathing continues softly. In. Out. Long ago, people trusted the stillness. They knew rest would come. They allowed it to settle naturally. The land is the same now. The farmhouse is calm. The river is quiet. The night exists as it always has. There is nothing to do, nothing to follow, nothing to remember. And in the quiet of this early American night, rest is enough. It spreads without sound, without weight, without direction. The stars, the fields, the river, and the farmhouse all breathe in unison. All are gentle. All are safe. And so you may rest here too, without effort, without care, without expectation. In. Out. Sleep may find you any time. It does not need permission. It is already part of the night, part of the land, part of the quiet that surrounds you. The night remains quiet. The town does not change quickly. It rarely does. The houses stay where they have always been. Wooden walls, soft paint, faded by many seasons. A narrow road curves gently between them. It does not hurry. It has never needed to. A single street lamp glows, not bright, just enough to exist. The light rests on the ground. It does not reach far. Some windows are dark. Some hold a dim, steady glow. Inside those rooms, nothing important is happening. A chair waits near a table. A book remains unfinished. A clock moves slowly, one moment at a time. There is no need to notice it. Beyond the houses, the land opens gently. Fields stretch outward, soft and level. They have carried footsteps before. They will carry them again. For now, they remain still. Farther out, the river moves the way it always has. It does not rush. It does not pause. It simply continues. Long before this town existed, the river was already here. It watched the first paths form. It watched names appear on maps. It did not react. It still does not. You do not need to imagine the river clearly. It can stay distant. There is nothing you need to remember about it. Near the edge of town, a small wooden bridge crosses the water. It creaks only when necessary. Tonight, it is quiet. The air feels even. Not warm, not cold, just present. A faint breeze moves through tall grass. The sound is soft, unremarkable. It does not ask for attention. This place has known many nights like this one. Nights where nothing needed to happen. Nights that passed gently, without being noticed. Years ago, people arrived here for simple reasons. They came for land, for water, for space. They built what they needed. No more than that. They worked during the day. They rested when evening came. Their names mattered once. Now they rest quietly in old records. There is nothing you need to remember about them. The town learned to move slowly. It learned when to stop. That rhythm stayed. Even now, it holds. A distant train track lies beyond the fields. No train passes tonight. The rails remain still. They have carried sound before. They will again. For now, they rest. The sky above holds a calm, open darkness. No stars demand attention. No clouds move quickly. Everything remains balanced. Inside one of the houses, a lamp stays on. It lights a small table. A folded letter rests there. The words inside are not urgent. They never were. The paper remains folded. No one needs to read it. Time passes without announcement. Moments drift into each other. You do not need to follow them. The town does not. It allows the night to unfold naturally. Somewhere, a door closes softly. Somewhere else, nothing moves at all. Both are the same. The river continues. The road remains. The houses stay. And the night holds everything without effort. You do not need to hold on to this. The story does not move forward quickly. It does not need to. It will remain here, steady and unchanged, as long as necessary. And without marking the moment, the night simply continues. The night continues without notice. Nothing announces the passing of time. The town remains exactly where it was. The road still curves gently, holding its shape without effort. The street lamp remains lit. Its glow does not change. It has done this many times before. Farther away, the river keeps moving in the same direction. It does not speed up, it does not slow down. It simply moves, as it always has. Along the riverbank, stones rest quietly in the water. They have been here longer than the town. They do not mind waiting. Grass near the edge bends slightly, then returns to stillness. Nothing asks for attention. A distant house settles softly, wood adjusting to the cool air. The sound is small, almost unnoticeable. Inside, a hallway remains dim. A staircase holds the same shadow it always does. No one is walking there. There is no reason to listen closely. Time continues in a gentle line. You do not need to follow it. The town does not. Years ago, this place learned how to be quiet. It learned how to remain. That habit stayed. A porch stands at the edge of one house. Its steps have been used many times. Tonight, they rest. A chair remains near the door. It faces outward, toward the street. It does not expect anything. The sky above remains open and wide. No pattern needs to be found there. You do not need to remember where the stars are. They can stay unseen. The air moves slowly, evenly. It does not change direction suddenly. Everything feels balanced. Somewhere beyond the fields, the land stretches farther than the eye can follow. It has done this quietly for centuries. It does not mind being ignored. The river continues. The road remains. The houses stay in place. And the night holds all of it, without effort, without intention. You do not need to hold on to this. Nothing here needs to be completed. The story does not arrive anywhere. It simply remains, moving gently, moment by moment, without asking you to stay awake. And without marking the change, the night continues on its own. The night does not shift. It stays where it is. The air remains cool and even. Nothing signals a new moment. The houses continue resting, each one holding its place without effort. A fence lines one yard, its paint worn softly by time. It does not stand out. It simply exists. Beyond it, the ground stretches flat and quiet. Grass moves slightly, then becomes still again. No pattern needs to be noticed. A window remains dark. Another holds a faint glow. Neither asks for attention. Inside one home, a clock rests on a shelf. Its sound is low. It does not hurry. Seconds pass, then pass again. You do not need to follow them. There is nothing you need to remember. The night carries time on its own. Outside, the road continues its gentle curve. No footsteps appear. No vehicles pass. The surface remains unchanged. Farther away, fields stretch into darkness. They do not end suddenly. They fade. The sky remains wide above them. Clouds move slowly, without shape that needs naming. Stars may be there, or not. It does not matter. The town has learned to rest without looking upward. A tree near the edge of the road stands quietly. Its branches do not move much. They have found a comfortable position. Leaves overlap softly, holding the night air between them. No sound rises from them. The river continues its steady path, unchanged, unaware of attention. Water flows around stones that have never asked to move. They remain. You do not need to hold on to this. Nothing here needs to reach a point. The story does not build. It does not resolve. It stays level like the ground beneath the town, even, steady, unconcerned. The night keeps everything balanced, and without marking time, it continues, as it always has. Nothing changes all at once. The night stays even. The ground remains steady beneath the town. A soft breeze moves through the open spaces, then settles. It does not linger. It does not rush. The houses remain quiet, their outlines familiar in the low light. Walls hold warmth from the day. Roofs rest under the open sky. No sound asks to be followed. Somewhere near the edge of town, a small path curves away from the road. It has been walked before. Tonight, it waits. The surface is smooth, pressed flat by time. Leaves rest along its sides. They do not move much. A fence continues alongside the path, its shape repeating evenly. Post after post, the same distance apart. There is comfort in repetition. You do not need to count. There is nothing you need to remember. Farther on, the land opens slightly. Fields stretch outward, their edges blending into darkness. They do not require attention. They are content being wide and quiet. A distant barn stands alone. Its doors are closed. Its outline is simple. It has nothing to say. The sky remains calm above it. No sudden movement, no sharp contrast. Clouds drift slowly, as if they have nowhere else to be. Time moves without effort. It does not announce itself. Inside one home, a chair rests near a window. The room is dim. Light touches only part of the floor. Everything else stays in shadow. Nothing is hidden. Nothing needs to be revealed. You do not need to hold on to this. The story remains level. It does not lean forward. It does not pull back. It simply continues in the same direction at the same pace. The town breathes evenly. So does the night. And without marking the moment, everything remains as it is. The air remains settled. It does not cool further. It does not warm. It stays where it is. The path continues without changing shape. Its curve feels familiar now, even without being noticed. Gravel rests beneath the surface, pressed smooth over time. Each small stone stays in place. Nothing shifts. Along the fields, the grass leans slightly, then stops. The movement is brief. It does not repeat itself. A line of trees stands farther back, their trunks evenly spaced. They are not tall in a dramatic way. They are simply present. Their branches overlap softly, creating gentle layers of shadow. No detail asks to be named. The town rests behind all of this, unchanged. Lights remain low. Windows do not brighten. Doors stay closed. The road near the fields stretches forward, then disappears into darkness. It does not end, it fades. You do not need to follow it. There is nothing you need to remember. Somewhere nearby, water moves slowly through a narrow channel. It makes no sound worth noticing. It flows because it always has. The surface reflects a little light, then releases it. Nothing holds on to the moment. Inside another home, a table sits near a wall. An object rests on it. Its shape is ordinary. Its purpose is unimportant. The room remains still. Time continues evenly, without marking itself. The story does not gather momentum. It does not prepare an ending. It stays open, flat, steady. You do not need to hold on to this. The night remains wide and calm and unchanged. And it continues without needing to move forward. The ground remains even. It does not rise. It does not dip. The land holds its shape without effort. The field stretches quietly, its surface unchanged. Nothing moves across it. Nothing waits to cross. The tree line stays in the distance, not closer, not farther away. Their outlines blur slightly in the low light. They do not sharpen, they remain soft. A narrow fence runs along part of the land, its posts evenly spaced. The spacing does not. A gate stands closed. It is not locked. It does not need to be opened. It simply exists as it is. The night air holds steady. No sound rises from it. No sound fades into it. You do not need to hold on to this. There is nothing you need to remember. The road beyond the field remains unseen, but its presence is understood. It has been there for a long time. It will remain. Inside the town, a lamp glows behind a curtain. The fabric softens the light. The room beyond stays quiet. Nothing inside the room shifts. The chair remains where it was. The floor holds its warmth. Time continues evenly, without marking change. The story does not turn. It does not build. It rests, in the same tone, the same pace. And it keeps resting, without asking to be noticed. The night remains settled. It does not deepen. It does not thin. It stays consistent, like a held breath that is never noticed. The field continues without interruption. Its edges are soft. The fence line remains straight, then gently disappears into shadow. No post leans, no wire hums. Everything rests in place. Farther along, the land dips just enough to suggest distance, then levels again. The change is subtle. It does not ask to be followed. A cluster of trees stands apart from the rest, their shapes slightly uneven, their presence steady. They do not sway. They do not respond. They simply remain. You do not need to hold on to this. There is nothing you need to remember. Somewhere nearby, a porch light remains on. It does not flicker. It does not brighten. It keeps the same low glow, spilling softly onto wooden steps. The steps do not creak. The door stays closed. Inside, air settles across the room evenly. A wall clock exists without sound. Its hands move without urgency. Time passes without announcing itself. The story continues without shape. No beginning forms. No ending prepares itself. Everything stays flat, gentle, and open. And it continues without needing to go anywhere. The night does not hurry. It does not pause. It simply remains. The road beyond the fields continues, its surface unchanged. No footsteps appear, no wheels roll. The quiet persists. A few scattered leaves rest near the fence line. They have been there for hours. They will stay longer. A small barn sits farther off, its doors closed, its walls still. It does not invite attention. The fields around it stretch without shape. The horizon stays soft. The sky holds a steady dark. No star shines sharply. No moon cuts through strongly. Everything is gentle. Inside one of the homes, a chair faces the window. The room is calm. A table sits nearby. An object rests on it. It does not demand notice. Time continues evenly, like the slow movement of the river. You do not need to follow it. There is nothing you need to remember. The town remains level. Its walls do not tremble. Its streets do not bend. They continue in quiet repetition. A distant barn light glows faintly. It does not flicker. It does not grow. It remains as it is. The night moves steadily onward, without signal, without urgency. Everything simply is. You do not need to hold on to this. The story does not climb. It does not fall. It remains flat, even, and calm. And the night continues without marking itself. The night stays consistent. It does not change direction. The ground holds its shape. The fields beyond remain soft and open. They do not call attention. A narrow path curves quietly, leading nowhere specific. No one walks it. No footsteps echo. The fence line continues. Posts stand evenly. Shadows move slightly with the air, then settle. Everything remains where it belongs. A distant house glows faintly. The light does not increase. The room beyond the window stays quiet. Nothing shifts within it. Inside, a small table rests in the corner. An object sits atop it, still. No sound rises from the house. The road beyond the town curves slowly. Its shape does not demand attention. The river continues, its surface reflecting the soft night sky. No ripples call for notice. No stones move. Everything stays balanced. The air is even. It does not rush. It does not stop. Time flows quietly. You do not need to follow it. There is nothing you need to remember. The night does not hurry. It does not pause. It simply remains. The story does not climb. It does not fall. It continues evenly, like the steady movement of the river. You do not need to hold on to this. Everything here is calm. Everything continues without effort. And without marking itself, the night persists. The night continues evenly. No sudden sounds appear. No movement demands attention. The ground holds steady. The fields stretch quietly into darkness. Grass bends slightly with the air, then rests. A small fence stands nearby. Its posts remain upright, evenly spaced. The repetition is gentle. Somewhere beyond, a barn rests quietly. Its doors remain closed. Its walls hold soft shadows. The roof does not change. A few scattered trees stand farther off. They do not sway. They remain still, their outlines blending with the darkness. The air holds itself evenly. It does not move quickly. It does not stop. Inside a nearby house, a chair rests near the window. A small table sits beside it. An object remains on the table. Nothing shifts. The floor holds warmth from the day. The room remains steady. The clock moves quietly. Its hands show time but do not demand notice. You do not need to follow them. There is nothing you need to remember. Outside, the road continues without end. Its curve is gentle, its surface undisturbed. The river flows steadily, its surface soft and reflective. Stones rest within it. Water glides without sound. Everything remains balanced. No moment is urgent. No shadow rises dramatically. The night is even. The town rests, unchanging. You do not need to hold on to this. The story does not climb. It does not fall. It simply continues, moment by moment, even and calm. And without notice, the night holds everything. The night remains steady. The air is even. No sudden movement appears. The fields stretch quietly. Grass sways slightly with the breeze, then rests. The fence stands along the edge. Posts remain upright. Shadows fall gently across the ground. A small barn sits farther off. Its shape is simple. Its doors remain closed. Nothing moves inside. The roof holds soft darkness. Trees beyond stand quietly. Their branches do not sway. They remain where they have been. You do not need to follow them. Inside a house nearby, a chair sits still. A table rests beside it. An object remains on the table. The room stays calm. A clock moves quietly, its hands marking time evenly. Nothing demands attention. The road beyond curves gently. No vehicles pass. No footsteps echo. The river flows slowly. Its surface reflects the dim light. Stones rest within it. Water glides without sound. Everything remains balanced. No moment is urgent. No shadow rises sharply. The town rests, unchanging. The night is even, calm, and continuous. You do not need to hold on to this. The story does not climb. It does not fall. It continues flat, moment by moment, quiet and calm. And the night holds it all, without asking for attention. The night continues without change. The air remains even. Nothing shifts suddenly. The open land stays wide and quiet. Grass rests close to the ground. No wind asks for attention. The fence line continues along the edge of the field. Each post stands in place. Their spacing remains familiar. Shadows lie gently between them. Farther out, the barn remains where it was. Its outline is soft. The doors stay closed. The walls hold the night without sound. Nothing moves inside. Beyond the barn, trees stand quietly. Their branches hold still. They do not reach. They do not pull away. They simply remain. The sky above holds a calm darkness. No stars call attention. No clouds move quickly. The sky does not change its tone. A road runs past the field. Its surface is smooth. No lights appear. No engines pass. The road rests. The river nearby flows slowly. Its movement is steady. Water touches stone, then moves on. No splash rises. No sound asks to be noticed. Inside a nearby house, the room remains quiet. A chair stays near the window. The table beside it does not move. The object on the table remains where it was placed. The floor holds warmth gently. The walls do not echo. A clock continues its slow motion. Its sound stays soft. You do not need to follow it. There is nothing you need to remember. Time passes evenly. It does not rush. It does not pause. The town remains settled. Houses rest where they stand. Windows hold faint darkness. Nothing asks for attention. You do not need to hold on to this. The story continues without direction. It does not rise. It does not fall. It stays level, moment by moment, steady and calm. And the night holds everything, quietly, without effort. The night stays as it is. Nothing shifts its shape. The air remains calm and level. The land holds its quiet form. Fields stretch outward, wide and open. The ground feels settled. Grass rests where it grows. No sound rises above another. The fence continues along the edge. Each post stands evenly. Their shadows rest on the soil. No post leans. No wire moves. Farther out, the barn remains unchanged. Its walls hold stillness. The roof stays dark. The doors remain closed, without sound. Nothing waits inside. Beyond the barn, trees stand quietly. Their trunks are steady. Their branches do not sway. They do not reach toward anything. They simply remain. The sky above holds a deep, even tone. No sudden light appears. No clouds hurry across it. The sky stays where it is. A road runs nearby. Its surface remains smooth. No headlights appear. No footsteps pass. The road rests. The river flows gently beside it. Its movement is slow. Water slides past stone, then continues on. No sound rises. No splash breaks the surface. Inside a house close by, the room remains still. A chair stays by the window. A table stands beside it. The object on the table does not move. The floor holds warmth evenly. The walls remain quiet. A clock continues its slow motion. Its sound stays soft. You do not need to follow it. There is nothing you need to remember. Time passes without weight. It does not ask for attention. The town remains settled. Buildings stay where they stand. Windows hold faint darkness. Nothing calls out. You do not need to hold on to this. The story continues evenly. It does not build. It does not release. It stays flat, moment by moment, quiet and steady. And the night continues, holding everything gently, without effort. The night continues without change. The air feels the same. Nothing becomes closer. Nothing moves away. The land holds its shape. Fields remain open. Grass stays low. The ground feels settled, unchanging. A path crosses the field quietly. Its surface remains smooth. No marks appear. No sound follows it. The fence line continues beside it. Each post stands evenly spaced. Their shadows stay soft. They do not stretch farther. They do not fade. The barn remains in the distance. Its outline stays clear. Its walls hold quiet. No light comes from within. Nothing waits behind the doors. Trees beyond the barn remain still. Their leaves rest. Their branches do not reach. They do not respond to anything. The sky above stays even. Stars remain faint. No cloud passes quickly.
The sky does not shift its color. A river continues nearby. Its movement is slow. Water passes stone, then passes another. The surface remains smooth. No ripples break the calm. The sound remains low, almost absent. Inside a nearby home, the room stays unchanged. A chair rests by the wall. A table stands beside it. The object on the table remains where it is. The floor feels even. The walls remain quiet. The window holds darkness gently. A clock continues its steady motion. Its rhythm stays soft. You do not need to follow it. There is nothing you need to remember. Time moves evenly. It does not press forward. It does not fall behind. The town rests quietly. Buildings remain still. Streets stay empty. Lights remain low. Nothing calls for attention. You do not need to hold on to this. The story remains flat. It does not rise. It does not settle. It simply continues, moment after moment, steady and calm. And the night stays present, holding everything quietly, without effort.
The night remains steady. Nothing announces itself. Nothing fades away. The land stays open, unchanged. A road stretches gently beyond the field. Its surface stays even. No footsteps follow it. No wheels pass over it. The road does not lead anywhere important. It simply exists. Telephone poles stand beside it. Their lines rest quietly in the air. They do not hum. They do not sway. Each pole keeps its place. Distance remains consistent. Near the edge of town, a single building rests. Its shape is simple. Its walls are plain. The door stays closed. There is no reason for it to open. Inside, the air remains still. Shelves hold familiar shapes. Nothing has been moved. Nothing needs to be found. The floor carries no sound. The ceiling remains unnoticed. Outside, the night keeps its balance. A light remains on far away. It does not brighten. It does not dim. It simply stays. A slow breeze passes once, then it passes again. It does not change direction. It does not linger. The trees accept it quietly. Leaves shift slightly, then rest. Branches return to stillness. The sky remains wide. Stars stay distant. They do not pull attention. They remain where they are. You do not need to follow them. There is nothing you need to remember. Time continues at the same pace. It does not speed up. It does not slow down. Moments arrive evenly, then pass. A distant river continues its quiet movement. Water touches stone. Then it moves on. The sound stays low, almost unnoticed. The town remains at rest. Houses stay dark. Windows remain calm. Streets hold their shape. Nothing waits ahead. Nothing is left behind. You do not need to hold on to this. The story stays level. It does not build. It does not resolve. It simply continues, quietly present, as the night remains unchanged. The night continues without interruption. Nothing signals a change. The air holds the same weight. The road remains where it was. Its edges stay clear. Its center stays quiet. No marks appear. No traces remain. Farther away, a field stretches outward. The ground rests flat. Grass moves only slightly. Then it stops. There is no pattern to follow. The horizon keeps its distance.
It does not come closer. It does not move away. Above it, the sky stays open. Clouds drift slowly, without shape, without intention. They pass. Then more space follows. A fence runs along the edge of the field. Its posts remain upright. The wire stays loose but steady. Nothing leans against it. Nothing crosses over. A porch light glows from far away. It does not invite. It does not warn. It simply stays on. The house behind it remains still. Curtains do not move. Windows stay dark. Walls hold their quiet. Inside, time passes gently. A clock may exist, but it does not matter. Seconds do not announce themselves. Minutes arrive softly, then leave. The river continues its slow movement. Water flows evenly. There is no splash. There is no pause. Stone after stone, the sound remains the same. You do not need to follow the sound. You do not need to understand it. The town remains settled. Nothing prepares for morning. Nothing remembers the day. Streets stay empty. Corners stay quiet. Distance stays consistent. There is nothing you need to carry forward. Nothing needs to be completed. The story does not move toward anything. It remains here, level and unchanged, as the night continues to exist.
The river keeps its course. It does not rush. It does not slow. Its surface reflects only what is already there. Light rests on the water, then drifts away. Nothing holds it. Along the bank, stones remain in place. They do not shift. They do not respond. Grass bends slightly, then becomes still again. There is no signal in the movement. Farther down the road, the pavement continues. Its lines remain faded. They guide nothing. They expect nothing. The road does not lead forward. It simply stays extended. A mailbox stands beside it. The paint has worn thin. No flag is raised. No letters wait inside. The box remains closed, without purpose. Behind it, trees line the edge of the land. Their branches overlap. Leaves rest quietly, touching only air. No wind passes through. No sound follows. The town remains distant. Its shape is unchanged. Lights remain few. Darkness remains wide. Nothing prepares to happen. Nothing remembers what already has. The night continues evenly. It does not mark time. It does not hold meaning. There is nothing you need to notice here. Nothing needs your attention. The words remain, and then they pass, as quietly as the space around them. The sky remains open. It does not deepen. It does not lift. Clouds rest where they are, thin and uneven, without direction. Stars remain faint. They do not arrange themselves. They do not signal distance. The air stays cool. It does not press. It does not pull. It simply stays present. A porch light glows somewhere unseen. Its brightness does not change. It does not invite. It does not warn. The house behind it remains quiet. Windows stay dark. Curtains do not move. Inside, nothing stirs. Outside, nothing waits. A fence runs along the yard. The wood shows age. Paint has peeled away slowly,
over time that was not noticed. The fence does not divide anything, it only stands. Beyond it, the land continues, flat, unmarked, unconcerned. There is no sound carried here, no voice stays behind, no moment asks to be kept. The night continues in balance. It neither arrives nor leaves. There is nothing you need to remember, nothing you need to hold. The words remain briefly, and then they fade, without effort. The land remains open. It does not narrow. It does not expand. Grass settles low to the ground, uneven, unremarkable. No wind moves through it. No sound crosses the surface. The ground keeps its shape without memory of footsteps. A road passes nearby. It is not busy. It is not empty. It simply exists, stretching forward without urgency. The pavement holds no shine. It absorbs the dark. Lines along the road remain faded, barely noticeable, doing no work. A distant structure stands far away. It could be a barn. It could be nothing at all. Distance makes no promises. Nothing asks to be identified. The night remains even. It does not gather meaning. It does not release it. There is no center here, no edge, no moment that asks for attention. Breath stays slow, uncounted, unnoticed. There is nothing you need to follow, nothing you need to finish. The words continue, and then they rest, without leaving a mark. The night remains unchanging. The air is still. Nothing pushes forward, nothing retreats. The fields extend quietly. Grass bends slightly, then rests again. The horizon stays soft. No line rises sharply. No shadow stretches. A road curves gently. Its surface is flat. No footprints mark it. No vehicle disturbs it. The fence continues along the edge. Posts remain upright. Wire rests without tension. Nothing passes over it. A distant house sits quietly. Its shape is simple. Its walls are unchanged. Windows remain dark. Curtains do not shift. Inside, nothing waits. Nothing moves. The river flows slowly. Its surface reflects the dim sky. Stone after stone remains unmoved. No sound rises. No splash interrupts. Everything is even. Time passes steadily. Seconds do not hurry. Minutes do not linger. The town holds its calm. Buildings stay in place. Lights remain faint. Nothing demands attention. You do not need to follow it. You do not need to hold on to anything. The story does not rise. It does not fall. It continues flat, quietly, moment by moment, as the night simply exists. The quiet remains steady. Nothing presses forward. Nothing pulls away. The ground stays level. Dust rests where it fell. The road does not change. Its edges are soft. Its center remains empty. No sound approaches. No sound leaves. A street lamp stands alone. Its light is dim. It does not flicker. It does not grow brighter. The space beneath it stays calm. Shadows remain short. They do not stretch. They do not shrink. The sky keeps the same tone. Clouds do not form. Stars do not sharpen. Everything holds still. A bench sits beside the path. Its surface is cool. No one sits there. No one is expected. Air moves slowly. It does not cool. It does not warm. Breathing stays even. Nothing asks for focus. Nothing needs attention. The story continues without effort. It does not guide. It does not lead. It simply stays, quiet and level, as the night remains unchanged.
The night stays balanced. Nothing arrives. Nothing leaves. The space remains open. The road keeps its shape. No marks appear. No marks fade. The surface stays smooth. Light rests gently. It does not drift. It does not pulse. Time feels wide. It does not hurry. It does not wait. The air stays soft. No breeze forms. No stillness breaks. A distant building holds its outline. Windows remain dark. No movement inside. No glow escapes. The structure feels settled, as if it has always been there, as if it will remain. Nothing asks to be remembered. Nothing asks to be forgotten. Thoughts slow on their own. No effort is needed. The moment does not lean forward. It does not fall back. It simply stays, quiet and even, as the night continues without change. The quiet remains complete. Nothing changes its position. Nothing draws closer. Nothing fades away. The ground stays level. Its texture remains soft. No pressure rests on it. No weight shifts. A path continues through the space. It does not narrow. It does not widen. It simply remains visible, without direction. The air stays calm. It does not cool further. It does not warm. Breathing stays slow, unnoticed, even. Light rests gently on surfaces. It does not move. It does not react. Shadows remain where they are. They do not stretch. They do not withdraw. A distant sound may exist, but it does not arrive. It stays far enough to remain meaningless. Nothing needs interpretation. Nothing needs response. Time stays wide and flat. Moments pass quietly, without leaving marks. The story remains here. It does not ask for memory. It does not ask for attention. It stays level, steady, as the night continues on its own. The night remains steady. Nothing shifts its place. Nothing asks to be noticed. The ground stays calm. Its surface holds no marks. No step passes over it. No sound stays behind. The path remains visible. It does not guide. It does not lead away. It simply stays present. The air rests evenly. It does not move faster. It does not slow. Breathing continues, quiet and uncounted. Light stays where it rests. It does not travel. It does not fade.
Shadows remain unchanged. They do not stretch longer. They do not disappear. Distance stays the same. Nothing comes closer. Nothing leaves. Time moves without weight. Moments pass gently, without edges. The story remains here, flat and calm, as the night continues, unchanged. The quiet remains intact. Nothing presses into the moment. Nothing pulls away from it. The ground stays even. Its surface feels settled. No mark appears. No trace fades. A long stretch of land rests nearby. It does not invite attention. It does not turn away. It simply remains. The air holds its balance. It does not cool further. It does not warm. Breathing stays slow, even, unnoticed. Light rests softly across the space. It does not shift. It does not react. Shadows stay close to their edges. They do not move outward. They do not fall back. Distance remains unchanged. Nothing approaches. Nothing leaves behind a space. Time continues without weight. Moments pass quietly, then pass again. There is nothing you need to follow, nothing you need to remember. The story stays level, calm, and present as the night continues on its own. The night stays even. Nothing changes its weight. Nothing asks for notice. The land remains open. Its surface stays calm. No movement crosses it. No sound settles there. A narrow path remains visible. It does not turn sharply. It does not disappear. It continues without direction. The air stays balanced. It does not shift. It does not pause. Breathing remains slow, steady, unnoticed. Light rests gently nearby. It does not brighten. It does not dim. Shadows remain close. They do not stretch farther. They do not draw inward. Distance feels unchanged. Nothing comes closer. Nothing moves away. Time continues evenly. Moments pass, then pass again, without leaving a mark. There is nothing you need to follow, nothing you need to remember. The story remains flat, quiet, and present as the night continues on its own. The space remains quiet. Nothing gathers. Nothing disperses. The ground stays level. Its surface holds steady. No mark forms. No trace fades. The path continues gently. It does not rise. It does not fall. It stays present, without direction. The air remains still. It does not press. It does not release. Breathing stays slow, even, unnoticed. Light rests where it is. It does not wander. It does not react. Shadows remain soft. They do not lengthen. They do not shrink. Distance stays the same. Nothing approaches. Nothing leaves. Time continues flat and wide. Moments pass quietly, then pass again. There is nothing you need to focus on. Nothing you need to carry forward. The story remains here, steady and calm, as the night continues without change.
The night stays level. Nothing settles in. Nothing moves out. The land remains open. Its surface does not change. No sound passes across it. No movement remains. A quiet stretch of ground continues ahead. It does not narrow. It does not widen. It simply stays. The air remains even. It does not cool further. It does not warm. Breathing stays slow, steady, unnoticed. Light rests softly nearby. It does not drift. It does not react. Shadows stay close. They do not stretch. They do not retreat. Distance remains unchanged. Nothing approaches. Nothing leaves. Time moves gently, without weight, without edge. Moments pass, then pass again. There is nothing you need to focus on, nothing you need to remember. The story remains flat, quiet, and present as the night continues on its own. The quiet remains complete. Nothing shifts its place. Nothing gathers momentum. The ground stays even. Its surface remains undisturbed. No mark appears. No mark fades. The open space continues. It does not close in. It does not open further. It simply stays present. The air remains balanced. It does not cool. It does not warm. Breathing continues, slow, even, unnoticed. Light rests gently across the ground. It does not brighten. It does not dim. Shadows remain soft. They do not stretch longer. They do not pull away. Distance stays unchanged. Nothing approaches. Nothing leaves. Time moves without shape. Moments pass quietly, then pass again, without leaving an edge. There is nothing you need to complete. Nothing you need to carry forward. The story remains here, flat and steady, as the night continues on its own. The night feels settled now, as if it has been here for a long time. Not arriving, not leaving, just present. The fields no longer shift with every breath of wind. They rest, accepting stillness without effort. The river continues beyond sight, moving through curves it knows well. Water remembers its way, even when no one watches. Moonlight thins slightly, softened by passing cloud. Light does not disappear, it becomes gentler. Shadows stretch, then soften at their edges. The hill remains quiet. The tree stands without motion, branches relaxed, leaves settled. Nothing falls now, nothing rises. The air holds a steady coolness, comfortable, unremarkable. Breathing slows again, without instruction. In, out. You do not need to hold on to the rhythm. It carries itself. Long ago, this land knew the sound of morning early. But tonight, morning feels distant, unnecessary. Lanterns once dimmed at this hour. Doors closed gently. Voices lowered, then faded. Those sounds do not return. They are not missed. The farmhouse seems to lean into the night, its shape unchanged, its presence steady.
Walls listen without hearing. Windows reflect nothing. Inside, darkness feels complete. Rooms hold their quiet like breath held softly, never tight, never strained. Outside, the path through the field rests unseen. Grass stands tall again, reclaiming space patiently. The stream glides along its shallow bed. Water curls around stone, then releases it. There is no resistance, only movement. If a thought appears now, it can rest beside the water, cool and untroubled. Then move on. You do not need to remember this place. There is nothing to remember. Time stretches wider still. Moments blend together. Edges fading. Stars feel farther away, or perhaps closer. The difference no longer matters. Clouds pause briefly, then continue. The night has learned how to stay quiet, and the land has learned how to receive it. Nothing asks to be understood. Nothing waits for response. The story continues without effort, without direction, without needing to be followed. The river flows. The fields rest. The sky remains open. And somewhere between one slow breath and the next, the night becomes familiar, safe enough to drift within, soft enough to let go.
The night remains steady, as if it has decided to stay a while. The mist near the ground thins, then gathers again, moving without direction. It does not hurry, it does not linger. The fields breathe quietly. Grass settles back into place after each small movement of air. Somewhere beyond the hill, the river turns slowly, not sharply, just enough to change the reflection of the sky. Moonlight softens along the bend. Silver becomes gray. Gray becomes shadow. Time feels wider here, not longer, just wider. Long ago, lantern light once moved across these fields. Small points of warmth. Never bright, never harsh. They drifted from home to barn, from barn to path, then disappeared. No urgency followed them, only routine. The land learned those patterns and then gently forgot them. A fence post leans a little more tonight. No one notices. No one needs to. The tree on the hill releases a leaf. It falls slowly, catching air once, then again, before resting where it chooses. Nothing marks the moment. Breathing remains easy. In, out. You do not need to follow the words now. They can soften. They can blur at the edges. The farmhouse stays dark. Its walls hold warmth from the day, enough to feel comforting. Wood remembers heat longer than stone. It gives it back slowly. Inside, rooms exist without movement. Furniture waits without waiting. A table, a chair, a floor that has known many quiet steps. None of it asks for attention. Outside, the path through the field reappears briefly as the mist shifts. Then it fades again. Both are acceptable. The sky stretches. Stars remain patient.
They have learned not to rush anything. Clouds pass in thin layers, never covering everything at once. If a thought drifts in now, it can drift back out. There is nothing to solve. The stream continues its gentle sound. Not constant, not silent. Just enough to remind the night that movement can be calm. The land holds the past loosely. It does not replay it. It does not explain it. It simply rests with it. The air cools slightly again. Not enough to wake. Just enough to soothe. You are safe here. You do not need to stay awake for the story. The story knows how to continue on its own. Time smooths itself out. Edges rounding. Minutes becoming soft shapes. Nothing ends. Nothing begins. The night carries everything forward. Quietly. Patiently. Without asking to be noticed.
The village sits quietly beneath the darkening sky. Wooden homes lined up along dirt streets hold the faint warmth of the day. Lanterns hang gently, their soft glow reflecting off windows, casting long, lazy shadows that move with nothing but patience. A horse shifts in its stall, the small sound barely audible. Nearby, the river winds slowly through the fields, its surface reflecting a sky that has softened from blue to deep indigo. Nothing is urgent here. Nothing demands your attention. Even the wind moves gently, brushing against tall grass, then retreating into stillness. In the distance, a small barn rests. Its doors are closed. The wood smells faintly of smoke and age. A ladder leans lightly against the side. Everything remains exactly as it should. Somewhere along the riverbank, reeds sway slowly. Water laps softly against the shore. It is a quiet rhythm, steady, unbroken, and it carries nothing that needs to be chased. The streets of the village hold the sound of absence. Steps have faded. Voices are long gone. Even the faint squeak of a wheel on a cart seems distant, as if it happened in another time entirely. Inside a small home, a candle flickers, its flame bending with the draft from the open window. The room smells faintly of wood and dried herbs, and everything inside holds its place. A chair rests beside a table. A book lies closed, unread for now. Outside, stars begin to shine, soft and unhurried. They do not demand attention. They do not flicker to startle. They simply exist, calm and patient. The river reflects their light. Its flow is gentle. The reeds bend and lift. The night feels contained. Everything is exactly where it should be. A soft wind lifts the corner of a curtain. Inside, a person shifts slightly in sleep, breathing evenly, quietly, without awareness of the river, the barn, or the stars. And that is how it should be. Time here does not feel measured. The clock in the village square ticks, but only to mark presence, not urgency. The sound becomes background, blending with the river, the wind, and the stillness of the village. Somewhere far away, a tree creaks lightly. It is not alarming. It is not demanding. It simply reminds you of its existence. Across the fields, shadows stretch and settle. The grass bends slightly with the breeze, then straightens again, as if nothing ever happened.
The night carries itself forward without effort. Breath follows breath, slow, even, unhurried. Your body responds. Shoulders relax, jaw softens, eyes rest heavier. There is nothing you need to hold on to. Even thoughts begin to drift. They come, they stay lightly, and then they pass. No lesson, no action, no urgency. Only the calm flow of the night. The barn remains still. The river continues. The sky stretches overhead. Everything feels balanced. Everything feels safe. You do not need to follow the horse. You do not need to notice the reeds. You do not need to remember the day. You can rest here. Completely. And as you breathe, as you settle, the night carries you further into itself. Time loosens, moments expand, the world simplifies into calm, and you are part of that quiet continuation.
The night does not rush. It simply continues. The river still moves the same way it did moments ago. Slow, steady, unconcerned with time. Its surface catches the faint light of the stars, stretching those reflections into long, gentle lines. They drift, then disappear, replaced by new ones that look almost the same. Nothing needs to change. Along the riverbank, the grass leans slightly. Not enough to fall, just enough to listen to the breeze. Each blade moves in its own small way, yet together they create a soft, uniform rhythm. Farther out, the fields rest under the open sky. They do not sleep, but they are not awake either. They exist in a quiet middle space, where nothing is asked of them. A wooden fence runs along the edge of one field. Its posts are uneven, weathered by years of sun and rain. The wood has softened with age, edges rounded by time rather than force. An owl shifts on a branch somewhere beyond the trees. It does not cry out. It simply adjusts its balance. The branch holds. The moment passes. The village remains calm. Lanterns still glow faintly, their light steady and warm. Some windows are dark now. Others hold a soft golden square of light, suggesting quiet activity inside, or perhaps none at all. Inside one of the homes, a kettle rests cold on a small iron stove. The fire beneath it has long gone out. The air smells faintly of ash and old wood. Nothing stirs. A table stands near the window. Its surface holds the marks of use. Small scratches. A faint ring from a cup placed there earlier in the day. These marks do not demand attention. They simply exist, like memories that no longer need to be recalled. A chair is pushed back slightly, as if someone stood up gently, not in a hurry, and left it there without thought. Outside again, the dirt road curves away from the house, leading toward the center of the village. The road is quiet now. No wheels pass over it. No footsteps disturb its surface. The earth itself feels settled, as if it has exhaled. Breathing becomes easier here. In, out, slowly. You do not need to imagine yourself walking this road. You do not need to place yourself anywhere at all. The story moves without you. You can simply float alongside it.
or drift away entirely. At the edge of the village, trees gather in loose clusters. Their leaves barely move. The sound they make is soft and repetitive, like distant water, or a breath taken by something very large and very calm. The moon lifts higher now. Its light spreads evenly across rooftops and fields. It does not spotlight anything. It does not cast dramatic shadows. It simply softens the night. A barn door creaks slightly, just enough to remind the night it exists. The sound fades almost immediately. Silence returns, unbothered. Inside the barn, the horse stands as it did before. Its breathing is slow and steady. The warmth of its body mixes with the cool night air. Straw rests beneath its hooves, undisturbed. Nothing asks the horse to move. Nothing asks the night to change. Beyond the barn, the land stretches outward. Fields blending into forest. Forest blending into hills. The edges blur softly in the low light. Far away, so far it almost does not exist, another settlement rests. Its lights are few. Its presence barely noticeable. Distance softens everything. The sky feels wider here. Stars hang without pattern. They do not form messages. They do not guide. They simply remain. If a thought appears now, it can pass just as easily. There is nothing you need to hold on to. There is nothing you need to remember. Time does not move forward here. It simply drifts. The river continues, always the same, always different. A small dock reaches into the water near one bend. Its boards are worn smooth. A rope lies coiled at one end, unused, content to remain where it is. The water touches the dock gently, again and again, never striking, never demanding entry. Somewhere near the trees, a fox passes quietly. Its movement is quick but soft. It leaves no trace that matters. The night closes behind it, as if nothing happened. The fields breathe. The village rests. The sky holds everything together. You may notice your body settling further now, the weight of the day loosening, muscles softening without effort, eyes growing heavier, not because they must close, but because they want to. Even the idea of listening can fade. The words no longer need to be followed. They can blur together, like the river's surface under starlight. Everything important has already been said. Everything else is repetition, gentle, unnecessary. The night remains open, wide, safe. And as the river keeps moving, so quietly, so endlessly, the story continues with it, unconcerned with where you are, or whether you are still listening at all.
The early morning sun rises softly over a quiet village along the eastern coast of colonial America. The river glimmers gently in the light, flowing slowly past wooden docks and small fishing boats. Everything is calm. You are safe here. Nothing pulls at you. You do not need to hold onto anything. The houses are simple, made of warm timber and stone, with smoke rising gently from chimneys. The streets are quiet,
except for the occasional footsteps of villagers beginning their day. Wooden carts move slowly, carrying firewood or fresh produce. Every sound is gentle, rhythmic, steady. Inside the homes, families begin to stir softly. Bread is baked, herbs are arranged neatly, and warm stews fill the air with comforting aromas. Children stretch and yawn, moving slowly, still in their pajamas or nightclothes. Parents move with ease, tending to morning chores, their steps soft on wooden floors. There is nothing you need to remember. Along the riverbanks, ducks glide across the calm water. Ripples shimmer gently in the sun's soft glow. Fishermen row quietly, casting lines without hurry, the water carrying every motion gracefully. A cat rests near a dock, eyes half closed, purring softly. A dog lies by the hearth, safe and still. The village clock tower chimes a soft note. It echoes through the streets, lingering in the calm air. No urgency exists here. No lesson waits. You do not need to hold anything. Gardens behind small homes sway gently in the morning breeze. Tomatoes, beans, and herbs brush against each other softly. The soil holds the warmth of the previous day, releasing it slowly. Everything moves at a natural, unhurried rhythm. You may follow it with your own breath. Along the main street, neighbors greet each other softly. Words are quiet, friendly, gentle. No excitement or rush disturbs the calm. The marketplace hums subtly as merchants arrange baskets of fruits and vegetables. Everything is orderly. Everything is steady. The river reflects the sky, a soft, pale blue, dotted with wisps of clouds. Sails flutter lazily on the horizon. Water laps softly against wooden pilings, steady, rhythmic, soothing. You may imagine your thoughts floating like the gentle river. Nothing pulls, nothing presses. In the community hall, villagers gather quietly to share news or prepare for small celebrations. Wooden benches and tables are arranged neatly. Candles or lanterns glow faintly even as the sun rises, adding soft warmth. Everything is calm. You do not need to follow anything. Along the narrow alleys, chickens scratch at the ground slowly, pecking and moving without hurry. A dog stretches, yawns, and settles again near a garden gate. Stone and wooden walls absorb the warmth of the day and reflect the calm of the village. The children move outside for morning chores, gentle laughter in the air. Soft whispers, soft feet on wooden boards, everything slow and steady. The river murmurs nearby, and the morning breeze carries its gentle sound through the streets. In the fields beyond, farmers walk slowly among their crops, checking leaves, adjusting supports for young plants. The soil feels soft and warm beneath their feet. The sun warms their backs gently, and the day moves forward, quietly, naturally. The smell of freshly baked bread and brewed tea drifts through open windows. Hearth fires glow steadily, casting faint shadows on walls and furniture. Everything is at ease. Nothing pulls, nothing presses. You do not need to hold on to this. Along the river, a canoe glides slowly, carrying soft bundles of supplies. Ripples expand outward, fading gently into the calm water. Birdsong rises quietly, then drifts away with the breeze. Everything flows naturally, peacefully. The village breathes as one, slowly, calmly. Lanterns sway gently along the docks, wooden carts creak softly as they move through the streets. Every sound is soothing, every movement is gentle. The early sun rises higher, casting golden light over rooftops, riverbanks, and fields. Stone and timber glow warmly. Shadows stretch slowly and settle. You may drift with this rhythm. All is calm. All is safe. Along quiet streets and gardens, villagers move in soft harmony. Children skip slowly, pets rest peacefully, smoke rises steadily from chimneys. Nothing hurries, nothing presses. You do not need to remember anything. And as the village continues its quiet rhythm, the river flows steadily onward. Lanterns, rooftops, wooden docks, and small boats move gently together. You may drift along, slowly, comfortably, peacefully. There is no ending waiting, no lesson forming. You do not need to hold on to anything. All is calm.